Letters of Swami Vivekananda, the new edition in 4 volumes. Letter number 360, addressed to Mr. E. T. Sturdy, 228 West 39th Street, New York, 13th February 1896. Blessed and beloved, about the sannyasi coming over from India, I am sure he will help you in the translation work, also in other work. Later on, when I come, I may send him over to America. Today, another sannyasi has been added to the list. This time, it is a man who is a genuine American and a religious teacher of some standing in this country. He was Dr. Street. Footnote: Dr. J.B. Street was then a school teacher from Brooklyn. He had been a student of Egyptian mysticism and had practiced Hatha Yoga before he met Swamiji and attended his classes on Raj Yoga in New York. He received sannyasa from Swamiji on 13th February 1896. Footnote end. He is now Yogananda, as his leaning is all towards yoga. I have been sending regular reports to the Brahmavadin from here. They will be published soon. It takes such a long time for things to reach India. Things are growing nobly in America, as there was no hocus pocus from the very beginning. The Vedanta is drawing the attention of the highest classes in American society. Sarah Bernhardt, footnote, Mme Sarah Bernhardt, 1844 to 1923, was one of the most celebrated stage actors of the 19th century. Footnote 8. The French actress has been playing Aizil here. It is a sort of Frenchified life of Buddha, where a courtesan, Aizil, wants to seduce the Buddha under the banyan, and the Buddha preaches to her the vanity of the world, while she is sitting all the time in Buddha's lap. However, all is well that ends well. The courtesan fails. Madame Bernhardt acted as the courtesan. I went to see this Buddha business. Footnote: between 20 to 29 January, Swamiji watched Aizil at Abbey's Theatre on the corner of 38th Street and Broadway. Footnote ends. And Madame, espying me in the audience, wanted to have an interview with me. A swell family, the Corbins, of my acquaintance arranged the affair. There were, besides Madame M. Morel, the celebrated French singer, also the great electrician Tesla. Madame is a very scholarly lady and has studied up the metaphysics a good deal. M. Morel was very interested, but Mr. Tesla was charmed to learn about the Vedantic Prana and Akash and the Kalpas, which according to him are the only theories modern science can entertain. Now both Akash and Pran again are produced from the cosmic Mahat, the universal mind, the Brahma or Ishvara. Mr. Tesla thinks that he can mathematically demonstrate that force and matter can be reduced to potential energy. I am going to see him next week to get his new mathematical demonstration. In that case, the Vedantic Cosmology will be placed on the surest of foundations. I am working a good deal now upon the cosmology and the eschatology of the Vedanta. I clearly see their perfect unison with modern science, and the clearing up of the one will be followed up by the clearing of the other. I intend to write a book later on in the form of questions and answers. The first chapter will be on cosmology, showing the harmony between Vedantic theories and modern science. Here, Swami Vivekananda draws a chart which shows that Brahman equal to Absolute. From Brahman comes Mahat or Ishvara, that is, from Absolute comes the primal creative energy, and out of Mahat or Ishvara comes Pran and Akash, that is, out of primal creative energy comes force and matter. The eschatology will only be explained from the Advaitic standpoint. That is to say, the dualist claims that the soul after death passes on to the solar sphere, thence to lunar sphere, thence to electric sphere. Thence he is accompanied by a Purusha to the Brahmaloka. Thence he goes to Nirvana, says the Advaitist. Now on the Advaitic side, it is held that the soul never goes or comes. All these spheres and layers of the universe are the results of Akasha plus Prana. That is, the lowest or most condensed is the solar sphere, consisting of a visible universe, in which Prana appears as physical force and Akash as sensible matter. The next is called the lunar sphere, which surrounds the solar sphere. This is not the moon at all, but the habitation of the gods. That is where the prana appears as psychic forces and akash as tanmatras or fine particles. Beyond this is electric sphere. That is where the prana is almost inseparable from akash, and almost you cannot tell whether electricity is force or matter. Next is Brahmaloka. That is where there is neither pran nor akash, but both have merged into the mind stuff, the primal energy. And here, there being no pran or akash, the jiva, that is individual soul, contemplates the whole universe as samashti or the sum total of mahat or mind. This appears as purusha, an abstract universal soul, yet not the absolute, for still there is multiplicity. From thence the jiva finds at last that unity which is the end. Now Advaitism says that these are the visions which successively rise before the jiva, who neither goes or comes. And that is the same way in which this vision has been projected. The projection, srishti, and dissolution must be in the same way. Only one is going back, the other is coming out. Now, as each individual can only see his own universe, that universe is created with his bondage and goes away with his liberation, although it remains for others who are in bondage. Now, name plus form is the constituent of the universe. A wave in the ocean is a wave so far it is bound by name plus form. If the wave subsides, it is the ocean. But that name plus form immediately vanishes forever, so that the waveform could never live without the water fashioned into a wave by them. Yet the name plus form were not the water if they die as soon as the wave returns to water. But other names and forms live in relation to other waves. This name plus form is called Maya, and the water is Brahman. The wave was nothing but water all the time, yet as a wave, it had the name and form. Again, these names and forms cannot for a moment remain separated from the wave, although the wave as water can remain eternally separate from name and form. But because the name and form can never be separated, they cannot be said to exist, yet they are not zero. This is called Maya. There is no more space left. I stop here. I want to work it out carefully. But you may see at a glance, I am on the right track. It will take more study in physiology, the relation between the higher and the lower centers to fill out the psychology of mind, and chitta, that is mind stuff, and buddhi, that is intellect. But I have clear light now, and no hocus pocus. I want to give them dry, hard reason, softened in the sweetest syrup of love, and made spicy with intense work, and cooked in the kitchen of yoga, so that a baby even can easily digest it. Yours with blessings and love, Vivekananda. Om Tat Sat.